Have you ever wondered what power your mind have in affecting your life and in transforming your life and achieving the goals that you have? Well, today we are going to tell you just that. We know you must have so many goals and New Year resolutions that you have for this year 2025. You must have decided that you want to change certain things in your life and you want to begin certain things in your life. You have taken the right step. 2025 is a great year, and there's a lot of great things ahead that can be achieved in your life this year. And today we are going to deliver that code that you can use to achieve that level of transformation that you want for your life in this year. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Proverbial Mind podcast. It is your host again, Samuel Oladeji. And today I'm going to be talking to you about mind mastery, unlocking the power of your mind to transform your life in 2025. If you're here for the first time, do not hesitate to subscribe to our YouTube channel, like our videos, and hit the notification button so that you can be reminded whenever we post new content. Also, give us a comment on how we are doing and how well we can better serve you. Let's get into it. What is mind and what is mastery? Let's start from the word mastery. Mastery is a level of professionalism, a level of uphill skill that you get after constant repetition of a particular art. Now, let's take martial art for an example. For you to master your martial art skills, you have to practice and practice and practice and practice. The law of repetition. What you practice consistently becomes part of your life. It becomes an habit. You master it. So mastery is getting deep understanding of something and then making it part of your second nature. Now, the mind is the bridge between your body and your spirit. The human is made up of three entities. That is the mind, the soul, the body, and the spirit. The body represents the physical aspect of you as a human, but it is not the only thing that makes you a human. Your soul is the mediator, and then your spirit is also part of you. It is what connects the spirit realm to the physical realm in your body. And your mind is that entity that makes that bridging possible, that connection possible. Just like you have Bluetooth between two phones to transfer information. That is what your mind is. Now, many of you might be wondering, spirit, that makes no sense. Well, let me prove to you. You meet somebody for the first time, and just in a few conversations, you begin to have this itch. You don't know, but you're just feeling something. You're having that urge that something is not right. That is your spirit mind trying to tell you something. You see, the spirit is limitless in its ability to travel, in its what it can do. Your physical body is limited by geographical locations and time, but your spirit is not limited by nothing. Your spirit can travel anywhere, all over the world. And sometimes the way you can know that is through your mind. That is why sometimes you sit down and start thinking. You sit down for a little while and then you find yourself wandering off. Sometimes that's your spirit traveling around. These are deep mysteries that only people who practice spirituality can understand. But whether you practice it or not, your spirit man is there and it's alive and it's working. Now, it can either work for your favor or work against you. Whether you believe it or not, there are energies, frequencies flowing all around the world. And whenever you're talking with somebody, there is a transmission that is going on between you and that person's spirit. And that's why sometimes you find out that when you spend a lot of time in a certain community of people, you begin to act like them. You begin to think like them. Whatever things that is going on in their life, you begin to feel it. They say when you hang around 5 billionaires or successful individuals, you didn't count well. You are the sixth person. It's law of attraction. And the frequencies transmitted between individual spirit is what attract these goodnesses, these things to us. If you notice, if somebody is going through certain kind of challenges or certain kind of maybe struggles in their life, if you hang around them for too long, you begin to experience almost the same thing if you're not careful, if you spend too much time with them. That's what your spirit does. It's a thing that you can't see it. It's not physical. Just as your mind is not physical, your spirit is not physical. It's invincible. And so therefore, it travels around and it is not limited by anything, any way, shape, or form. So how does your spirit then matter into these things? Like we said, anywhere you spend time with, there are frequencies traveling around. There are energies traveling around. And there are dark energies. And there are also positive energies, which is light. And if you're not cautious, you can contact dark energies. And that is why sometimes you find yourself going through a path that you can understand. You find yourself feeling a certain way that you can't understand. You find yourself depressed or frustrated most times that you can't understand. It is your spirit picking up those frequencies from that territory and environment that you are. And so, if you're not cautious, your spirit man can work for you or against you. Now, how do you build your spirit man? It's through practicing spiritual things, which is prayer, worship, meditation, mindfulness, and studying the Bible. And when you study, when you continue that long enough, you begin to see your spirit man become more active. How do you think dreams function? That is your spirit man wandering around. If you notice sometimes you sleep, you have a dream, and then you wake up, and it happened exactly how you saw it in that dream. That's your spirit man that has gone into the future to see what is happening. You see, there used to be this teaching that whatever happened in the physical realm is a result of something that has been finished and be planned in the spirit realm, because the spirit realm is the physical realm is subjected to the spirit realm. I didn't really believe that before until I began to see it at work by myself. There was a time I slept and I saw that in that dream or vision, whatever it is, someone came in to check up on me and we went somewhere. And guess what? When I woke up, that same person came in, check up on me exactly as I saw it in that dream was what happened. My spirit man went to the future and made me aware of what is about to happen. That is the power of your spirit man. It can work for you or it can work against you. And it can really, really help you to plan your life in 2025. And so for you to make your spirit man work for you positively in 2025, you really need to invest in your growth, in your spiritual growth, meditation, mindfulness, studying the Bible, and worshiping. This, you can gain advantage to see things even before they happen as the Lord allows you to explore that realm. Now let's go into your mind. Your mind is influenced by two things. First of all, what you see and what you hear, as well as the frequencies and the signals that your spirit man picks up. But we've already dived into what the spirit and the spirit man does. Now let's go into the mind itself. How do you train your mind? How do you master your mind? Now you know the first thing that affects your mind, which is the unseen things, the spiritual things. Now let's go to the physical things. Let's see how the physical things affect your mind. Your eyes and your ears are the major senses that transmit information from your environment into your mind through your brain and your signals that processes things. Sometimes what you see might not be exactly what is the real fact, but it is the interpretation and meaning that your mind gives to it. That is what you see it as. And that is the law of correspondence. The law of correspondence is the law of the mind that states that your external world, whatever you perceive in your external world, is a result of what is within your internal world, that is inside of you. You can walk into a meeting now and see somebody. They say first impression matters a lot. Why does it matter a lot? It is you who is creating that impression. Somebody can come to meet you now And based on what the kind of behavior or the way they look like, you've already tagged a particular picture to them, and you've tagged it a particular maybe bias or meaning to them. That is the law of correspondence. Now, what made you see that person that way? It is as a result of the data that you have stored in your brain, in your mind. And so when your mind see that person and see the way they act, it's kind of the archive of the things, the files that you have downloaded into it, and say, oh, this is what this person is. This is what that person is. Sometimes you might be right, and sometimes you might be absolutely wrong. And that is why it is dangerous sometimes to judge people by just the first appearance you see and by how they act at first sight. Because somebody that you might think is a negative person or an evil person might be one of the most greatest people you've ever met in your life if you would just take the time to take out the bias that your mind kicks in and then try to get to know the reality of who they are, not what your mind or your history, your experience perceives them to be. So what you see, what you hear are the most important thing that affects your mind. Now, how did they affect your mind? You notice that sometimes when you see certain things, you begin to think about it. And guess what? They affect your emotions. And then they affect your actions. And so now that you've known this secret, how do you now control the things that you allow into your mind? By controlling the things you see and the things you hear. Now, we know that there are sometimes you can't really control the things you see and the things you hear because you don't control the word actually. What that is within your control is very, very limited, which is where the law of belief comes in. Let's say you hear negative news and then you read the negative news from newspaper or you hear it from audio. It is your choice to believe it or not. But the moment you believe it, you've given power to that news to affect your life, either positively or negatively. And if you listen to a negative news, guess what? You're going to get a negative feeling, negative emotions, and you start having negative energy. And based on the law of attraction, if you give out negative energy, that is also what you're going to attract back. Again, it is frequencies. What you give is what you attract back to yourself. And that's why they say that you should give, because when you give, you attract the same thing back to you. It's the law of attraction. And so therefore, you have to harness the law of belief into filtering the things that you see and you hear in this 2025. Because there are so many things you're going to see. There are so many things you're going to hear. Some you can control, some are absolutely out of your control. If you open up your phone or go to your internet browser and you see a negative news, you're not the one that put it there. You can't stop it. You can't stop yourself from seeing it unless you don't want to use the browser at all. You got to use it. But you can now use the law of belief to stop that stuff from affecting you. Once you see it, you detach yourself from it right away. Because what you focus on grows. The law of focus. When you believe something, you begin to focus on it. And when you focus on it, it replaces in your mind, replaces in your mind, replaces in your mind. It becomes a bond. You begin to go back to create that same experience for yourself again. Maybe because of the dopamine you get from it or the kind of feeling that you get from it. And then your body is kind of addicted to that feeling. You go back, you go back, you go back. As time goes on, you create an habit from it. And that is the law of repetition. Whatever you repeat over and over again will become a lifestyle, will become an habit for you. And everything happens within your mind. Research shows that there are 43 thoughts that goes in your head every day without you even thinking about it. Let me prove to you how true this is. I want you to sit down in a place that is comfortable without noise. Sit straight with your two legs grounded to the floor, and then your back straight up, and then your hands free lying. And then close your eyes and take a deep breath. In and out. In and out. In and out 3 times. Focus on your breath. Now empty your mind. Empty your mind. Just only focus on the movement on your breath. You notice that now you are detached from your thoughts and yourself. What is the first thing that comes to your mind? You realize that you're not the one that brings that thought. It's simply just came by itself. And usually those thoughts are programming of something that you've seen in the past or heard in the past somewhere, most times, or felt in the past. And then they randomly just shoot into your head anyhow, positive or negative. Those thoughts, your thoughts are not you. You are different from your thoughts. Now you notice how those thoughts are coming up. Identify them, don't resist it, just let it come. Don't give it attention, let it go again. You see how peaceful you are in the process. This is how it happens. This is how you practice the law of substitution. Now, let that thought go away. Now, try to enforce a positive thought into your mind by yourself. Just think of something positive. Think of something positive. When the negative thought comes in, don't acknowledge it, but don't resist it. Just immediately switch your attention into something else. You realize that you are not your thoughts. It just comes randomly by itself. And that voice in your head is even analyzing the thoughts to show you that your mind is different from your thoughts. But when you allow your mind, when you give your mind attention to your thoughts, it's going to become a controller of your life. That is the power of your mind. And that is the things that shape your mind. That is the things that control your life. The law of belief. You can't control what you see. You can't control what you hear. You just can't. However, you can choose to believe it or not believe it. The moment you give it attention, which is the law of focus, and continue to repeat it in your head, law of repetition, it's going to grow. And once it grows, it's going to affect your emotion, it's going to affect your life, because now your mind will send that signal to your brain. And then your brain send neurons and send commands to part of your body. And then your heart start racing. It happens so fast. You start freaking out for absolutely nothing. There is nothing coming to haunt you. You're just freaking out for nothing. It's the mind. That's all the tricks it plays. If you want to do something now, your mind is most times a lazy entity. And if you don't exercise it, it's called the prefrontal cortex and then the limbic system. You see, the prefrontal cortex is what allows us to do cognitive activities consciously. Whereas most of the things that come from your subconscious mind is from your limbic system, which is at the back here. And most times we are on autopilot, working on subconscious mind. But I want you to use this lesson to be more conscious of the things that come into your mind. Acknowledge them. The negative ones, kick them out. The positive ones, you can give it attention. And as you give it attention, continue to repeat it. It's going to grow. It's going to transform your life. And as you see, your life begin to change. We're not really going to delve more on the body because the body follows the command of the mind. It's like a slave to the mind. Whatever you put in that mind is what's going to affect your body. And whatever you allow your mind to produce is what's going to affect that body. So there's no need to even put any attention to it because the body has absolutely no control over anything. It's your mind that controls everything. So what are the laws we talked about today? The law of belief. What you believe is going to shape your life. It's kind of like principles and values. 2025, there'll be a lot of negative things that will come around. But those negative things are not you. You are different from them. But if you let them to come into your mind and live for free and gain attention, they will shape your mind. Trust me. The law of focus, what you focus on is going to grow. What you repeat is going to become an habit. It could be a good or a bad habit. The law of correspondence. Your external reality is a result of your internal reality. What you believe inside is what shapes what you see outside. All of those things that, oh, there's scarcity, oh, I'm going to die, I'm in debt, is all illusion. You're still alive, you're not dead yet. When you're freaking out, your brain is not working, and then you can't even make conscious actions to do the right thing. All you just got to do is control this mind. It's in there somewhere. It's spiritual. You can't see it, you can't touch it, you can't feel it. Yet it has the power to screw up your life or to build your life. And then you have the law of attraction. What you give is what you receive. It's frequency, it's energies. It attracts. It's a law, and that's what it does. And then you have the law of the subconscious, which is again the limbic system. Most times humans operate from the subconscious mind. And that is why we do so many things we don't even know why we did it. Because your subconscious mind is what is working. So try to be more in the prefrontal cortex, not in the limbic system. The limbic system is good. It helps you. You don't need to think before you sweep your floor. Otherwise, you might not do it. The brain might just resist and be like, oh, I don't want to do that. And then you're just going to give into that. So these guys are the laws that govern your mind and how they all affect your life and your spirit man. I want you to take these important lessons today and give it attention. Listen, watch this video over and over again until these things sink into your mind and into your spirit, and then they shape your life. I want you at the other screen there to have a great life in 2025 because God has said great things concerning you. It is now left for you to bring it to reality by believing that you are more than what the world labels you as. The world does not decide who you are. Before the world has opinion, God already created you. From the beginning to the end of your life is what He says. He said, I've known you before you came out of your mother's womb. I know to the beginning to the end of your life. And guess what? He said, the plans I have for you are great. They plan to prosper you and not to harm you. So believe these words. He said in His word, He said, I will make water flow out of the desert. He is the God of possibilities. He runs the world, man. Believe and transform your life in 2025. At the end of the year, I want you to be able to check mark great things that you have achieved by believing these laws and believing in the power of your spirit man. It's the entity that connects you to God. And by practicing prayer, meditation, studying the word, and worship, and mindfulness, very, very important. Mindfulness is what is actually going to help you gain control of your mind. With mindfulness is what you can actually implement these laws. Be present and be conscious of what goes through your mind and harness that power into shaping your life. This year, guys, is everything on mind mastery, unlocking the power of your mind to transform your life in 2025. Again, if you're here for the first time, make sure to hit the notification button, subscribe, like our videos, and comment and share it to your loved ones so that they can get from this powerful mystery that the Lord has given us the grace to bring to you today. And if you want to contact us, you can reach us at proverbialminds@gmail.com. You can also listen to us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and follow our page on Instagram. We usually post some shorts during the week, things that can help you pick up your emotions or your minds or your feeling if you're feeling down during the week. We have a bunch of that there. And you can also entertain yourself on our YouTube channel. Visit our inaugural videos to learn more about what the Proverbial Mind podcast is all about. And on to the next one. Peace out, guys, and stay blessed.